Welcome to Investor Web, the premier digital hub for insights and knowledge on the world of investing. This is your go-to place for unraveling the complex threads of finance, making sense of the numbers game, and understanding key trends. We're here to bring you the most relevant, timely, and accurate information, helping you stay ahead of the curve. We believe in empowering you, the investor, with the right tools and knowledge to make informed decisions. Stay tuned to Investor Web for cutting-edge financial insights. Now, onto our topic for today. Inflation, a term often thrown around in economic discussions, but what does it really mean? Let's dive into this key economic concept. Inflation, in its simplest form, is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services rises, and subsequently purchasing power is falling. Think of it as a slow but steady tide that gradually erodes the value of your money. To grasp this, let's imagine you have £100 in your pocket. Today, that £100 might buy you a nice dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant. But fast forward a few years, and due to inflation, that same £100 might only be enough for a quick bite at a fast food joint. The money in your pocket hasn't changed, but what you can buy with it has. That's inflation at work, slowly eating away at the value of your money. But who's the puppet master behind this economic phenomenon? Enter central banks. Central banks like the Bank of England or the Federal Reserve in the United States have a crucial role in managing inflation. They use tools like interest rates and monetary policy to keep inflation within a targeted range. Why? Well, a little inflation is actually a good thing. It encourages spending and investment, which helps the economy grow. If prices were to fall instead, a situation known as deflation, people might hold off on spending, expecting prices to drop further. This can lead to economic stagnation and even recession, but too much inflation is also harmful. It can lead to uncertainty about the future, discourage saving, and create a vicious circle where prices and wages chase each other upwards, leading to even more inflation. It's a delicate balancing act, and the central banks are the tightrope walkers striving to keep inflation just right. In essence, inflation is a rise in prices that erodes your buying power. It's a complex yet integral part of our economic system, and understanding it is key to making informed investment decisions. If inflation erodes our buying power, you might wonder why governments would want to create it. Well, let's dive into this thought-provoking question. The first thing to understand is that inflation is not inherently evil. In fact, a controlled level of inflation is often seen as a sign of a healthy, growing economy. When prices are expected to rise, consumers are more likely to spend their money now rather than holding onto it. This spending stimulates economic growth by increasing demand for goods and services, which in turn prompts businesses to hire more workers and invest in their operations. Now, you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but what about the debt? Excellent point. This brings us to another reason why governments might choose to create inflation, reducing the real burden of debt. Here's how it works. When inflation rises, the value of money falls. This means that the money owed in the future will be worth less than it is today. So, for a country with a large amount of debt, a little bit of inflation can help lighten the load. But it's not just about the debt. There's another key reason why governments might want to create inflation, to avoid the dreaded deflation. Deflation is when prices fall over time. While that might sound like a great thing for your wallet, it can actually be disastrous for the economy. If people expect prices to fall, they hold off on spending, which can lead to a decrease in demand. This can trigger a vicious cycle of reduced business revenue, job losses, and further drops in spending. In this sense, a little bit of inflation can act as a buffer, keeping the economy from falling into a deflationary spiral. Of course, this doesn't mean that all inflation is good. High inflation can be just as damaging, if not more so, than deflation. It can erode purchasing power, create uncertainty, and lead to economic instability. That's why it's crucial for governments and central banks to carefully manage inflation, keeping it within a target range that supports economic growth without causing undue harm. So, to sum it up, governments may choose to create inflation to stimulate economic growth, reduce the real burden of debt, and avoid deflation. But like a skilled chef managing the heat in a kitchen, they need to strike the right balance. Too little heat and the economy can fall into a deflationary freeze. Too much and it risks getting burnt by runaway inflation. In the grand scheme of things, a controlled level of inflation can be beneficial for the economy. But as with any economic policy, the devil is in the details. The challenge for policymakers is to use inflation as a tool to support economic growth while minimizing its potential downsides. And that, dear listeners, is no easy task. However, inflation is not without its drawbacks. As the saying goes, too much of anything can be harmful, and this certainly holds true for inflation. One of the most noticeable effects of inflation is the reduced purchasing power of money. This means that as prices rise, the value of money falls, and you'll need more money to buy the same goods and services. In a sense, inflation erodes the value of money. Now, imagine you're a saver. You've diligently put money aside for a rainy day or perhaps for your retirement, but with inflation, the purchasing power of your savings diminishes over time. What you could buy with your savings today, you might not be able to buy tomorrow. This essentially discourages savings and encourages spending, leading to a potential imbalance in the economy. Moreover, inflation breeds uncertainty. Businesses, for instance, might find it difficult to plan for the future and make sound investment decisions if they cannot predict how prices will change. Likewise, workers may demand higher wages to keep up with the rising cost of living, which can then lead to a vicious cycle of rising prices and wages known as a wage price spiral. Then there's the extreme form of inflation known as hyperinflation. Hyperinflation occurs when inflation rates are so high that the general level of prices increases rapidly and substantially, often at an exponential rate. History is littered with examples of countries that have experienced hyperinflation, such as Zimbabwe in the late 2000s and Venezuela more recently. In these cases, the value of money depreciated so quickly that it became almost worthless, causing severe economic distress and hardship for the people living in these countries. In essence, while inflation can stimulate economic activity and growth, it's a delicate balance. If left unchecked, it can lead to economic instability, as history has shown us. Just like a pot on the stove, it's essential for governments to keep a close watch on inflation, stirring the pot just enough to keep the economy simmering, but not so much that it boils over. Unchecked inflation can lead to economic instability, as history has shown us. So how do governments strike a balance? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Governments working closely with their central banks aim to maintain an optimal level of inflation through a tool we call monetary policy. It's like a thermostat for the economy, constantly adjusting to keep things just right. You see, a little inflation can be a good thing. It encourages spending and investment, stimulating economic growth, but too much and it's like a runaway train, eroding purchasing power and creating instability. That's why central banks aim for a Goldilocks zone of inflation. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right. This optimal level of inflation is often around 2% per year. It's a target, not a ceiling, and it provides a buffer against the risk of deflation, which can be even more damaging than high inflation. So how do they do it? There are several tools at their disposal. They can adjust interest rates, affecting the cost of borrowing and influencing spending and saving. They can also control the money supply through open market operations, buying and selling government securities. But it's not an exact science. It requires constant monitoring, vigilance, and sometimes quick action. That's because the economy is a complex and ever-changing beast, influenced by a myriad of factors both at home and abroad. Striking the right balance with inflation is a delicate act, one that requires constant monitoring and adjustment. Inflation, a complex but fundamental part of our economic reality. We've delved into the depths of this fascinating economic phenomenon, starting with its basic understanding to why governments deliberately engineer it. Remember, it's a tool to stimulate spending, reduce the burden of debt, and avoid the dreaded deflation. However, it's not all roses. The downsides of inflation were also explored, highlighting how it can erode purchasing power and create economic instability if not kept in check. But fear not, for balance is sought. Governments and central banks around the world strive to maintain a healthy rate of inflation, a delicate juggling act indeed. The world of economics is as intriguing as it is complex, and our understanding of it shapes how we navigate our financial futures. That's all for today on Investor Web. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Until next time, keep investing wisely.